And everything that I just mentioned is affected by the missile threat that the Chinese are developing.
But you are reinforcing long-range airplane or capability in Guam. It's against Chinese missile capability expansion?
Well, one has to look at this strategically, that one looks at not just a specific weapon system, but the total capabilities. And we need to have capabilities in Asia and in the Pacific generally that take into account all of Chinese capabilities. Their missiles, they're also expanding their submarine capabilities. I mean, the Chinese are working very hard pretty much across the board on developing their military capabilities. And we would like, as we've said to them over and over again, we would like to know more about what they're doing, make sure that it's transparent. We don't want hostility with them. We don't want China to be our enemy, but we are not happy watching these developments and watching these developments through screens that the Chinese are making as opaque as possible.
Mr. Secretary, I think you are the responsible person for deployment and force structure all over the world, particularly in Asia. The reason why you sent back the troops from Okinawa to Guam, it's only the reason thinking about the people of Okinawa's burden decrease?
Well, we had multiple considerations when we were dealing with what we called the global defense posture realignment. And what our main interest was increasing our capabilities throughout Asia and the Pacific. There was no suggestion whatsoever that we should be decreasing our capability to work with or to assist Japan. On the contrary, we wanted to increase our capability to work with and assist Japan. Likewise, to work with and assist South Korea and more broadly in the region, Australia and elsewhere. We made arrangements, even though we moved some pieces around. We made overall arrangements with air capabilities, sea capabilities, and with Army forces, so that we could greatly increase our ability to respond to contingencies in Asia, and that was the goal. Very often, specific moves were analyzed as if those specific moves were enormously symbolic of something, and in many cases, what we were doing was looking very broadly at the way we are postured and how we could bring large capabilities into the region as quickly as possible. In some places, the local populations got accustomed to symbols, the number of troops on the ground. But the number of troops on the ground is not always the best measure of our capability to bring in effective military capabilities rapidly in the event of a contingency, and of the right kind. I mean, sometimes the troops on the ground are not what you need. You need a combination of troops on the ground and air power, or very importantly, sea power.
In context of your explanation, I'd like to ask you about the future of Okinawa, Marine and others.
Well, the future is going to be determined in negotiations between the two governments. I'm not, obviously I'm not as current on those talks now as I was years ago when I was at the Pentagon. My hope is that the issues will be resolved, because I think that Okinawa is important. I know that our Marines value it. It's important to our strategy for the region and to our global strategy. And And it's extremely important for the U.S.-Japanese alliance. And I don't think we have any alliance in the world that is more important to us than our alliance with Japan. So I hope we keep it healthy.
So no idea of U.S. forces going out to Guam from Okinawa in the near future?
I hope we will solve the problems that will allow us to maintain a reasonable presence in Okinawa.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
インタビューをまとめてみます。在韓米軍をなくすというのではなく、世界中のアメリカ軍が韓国を守る。中国のミサイル戦力の強化がアジアの軍事情勢を変える。アメリカはアジア太平洋の軍事力を強化する。沖縄は重要で必要な軍事力を配備しておきたい。
沖縄の基地の大きさを実際に見てみますと、アメリカのアジア戦略、極東戦略の強さ、強大さというものが迫ってまいります。でアメリカは全力を挙げて第二次大戦後アジア戦略を構築いたしましたけれども、その基本になるのが沖縄の基地でありまして、まさにできれば永久にこの沖縄を使いたいと考えているようであります。でこうした中で、かつての自民党政府がアメリカ政府と取り決めた海兵隊一部ガム島に移すということや、市の中心になっております普天間航空基地をよそへ動かすというのは非常に大きな歴史的な話し合い出来事だったと思うんです。でこれを国内政治の上から、ある意味では国内政治の上から新しい政権が古い政府の取り決めを変えるというのは当たり前のことだと国際的にも考えられておりますけれども、鳩山首相あるいは福島社民党の党首、あるいは岡田外相がアジア戦略全体をどう考え、そしてアメリカと日本の軍事協力というものをどう考えるのか、日本の軍事力、憲法、あるいは核兵器も含めて日本がどうするかということを考えた上での決断であったのか、国民は厳しく問うべきだと思います。私はこれまでのところでは鳩山政権、そして社民党の福島党首は歴史的な、そして日本の安全について十分な考慮を払っていないのではないかと言っても言い過ぎではないと思っております。